I think SGMStew is going to take it. Wowmaster, obviously the underdog, but we will see here what transpires. Best of luck to both players. I'm going to move them down into a separate channel, and we will get underway here. All right, so here we go. SGMStew, of course, having the Cthulhu Druid deck, the Tempo Mage, and the Paladin deck. Up against Wowmaster's Priest. Mage. And Paladin deck. So as we await Wowmaster to accept the challenge, as I said, this is another veteran versus new blood matchup. Wowmaster getting shellacked in his meeting against Megatobi. We will see if SGMStew gives the up-and-comer, the debuting Wowmaster, another sharp lesson here. Facing elimination and determined after the bitter 3-2 loss to Country Rebel earlier tonight. Megatobi, you just got the victory over Enderstone. What is your prediction here for SGMStew against Wowmaster?
SGMStew has it. Honestly, it just after facing Ender and everything, and facing Big beforehand, I just know deck wise, Big has it.
Yeah, Wowmaster, a huge underdog in this one. I definitely think SGMStew has it, and I think SGMStew is also going to be a favorite against AlCapwn as well. He could very much get right back into the finals just on the opposite end of the tournament, and that's what's so exciting about this elimination bracket matchup. It gives a chance for someone who had a very close matchup, could have gone either way there, and lost narrowly 3-2, a chance to get back into the tournament. You know, his aspirations to become season champion, to retain the season championship, not over yet. So we will see how Wowmaster plays against him here in this next matchup. We are waiting for Ender to accept the challenge. Let's go to Pathlador, youmadbro. What's your prediction here for this one, SGMStew versus Wowmaster? I think it's going to be very interesting to see what SGMStew starts with here. I think he'll definitely go with Cthulhu Druid, but we'll see. Definitely his strongest deck, and why wouldn't you go with that? It's going to be very hard. Wowmaster just doesn't have the mana curve. He has a lot of very inefficient cards, and even then, the cards that he does have, he plays them very inefficiently. So Big Dad is going to punish him for that time and time again, especially with that Cthulhu deck. And I think what we're going to see here is that Wowmaster is going to spend a lot of his mana and a lot of his bigger cards earlier, and it's going to come back to haunt him in the later parts of the matchup. Okay, so here we go. Wowmaster accepting the challenge at long last. And we are ready to bear witness to our elimination bracket. Broadcasting with me here on this one, my partner for the commentary will be Mega Toby, Country Rebel, currently dealing with some microphone issues. So, Toby, welcome to the broadcast booth. What's your prediction for this one beyond SGMStew winning overall in the series? How do you think this first matchup is going to go?
Give me 1 sec to load in.
Pretty much agree with what I was saying, where Ender's probably going to spend a lot of his bigger cards earlier and pay for it. It is Paladin versus Mage here.
Yep, and I know Big is pretty good at his Paladin deck.
Right, as I said, I said the Cthulhu deck is the backbone of his three decks, but it's not taking anything away from his Paladin or Tempo Mage.
Yeah.
So here comes Wowmaster with the arcane missiles. We got 1-1 now unshielded. And Big is eyeing the selfless hero here. We'll see if he uses it. Instead, he's going to use his hero power, bring out another Silverhand recruit, and he's going to knock Enderstone down to 29. So here comes the Argent Horse Rider. Going to continue to bring some pressure on Wowmaster. Ice Barrier going to come up for Wowmaster. That secret going to give him 8 armor as soon as he's attacked. And SGMStew getting the Keeper of Uldaman. That's going to give one of his minions 3/3. And he's going to use it on the Silverhand recruit from 1/1 to 3/3. And now right to the face. That 8 armor going to be knocked down to 5 armor. And now 3. 28-29 is your score here so far health-wise. Mirror Entity being cast by Wowmaster. The next minion that SGMStew drops will be cloned and put on the board for Ender. And Big is going to drop the Silverhand recruit. And he knows the possibility is there for that mirror entity, so he's going to be very cautious here what he plays. And there is the selfless hero. And Big is going to be able to knock that out immediately with no other minions on the board. And there it goes. And now more damage to the face. The armor completely gone from that ice block. And now it is 28-23, SGMStew leading. And Enderstone on turn 5. Toby, would you agree that the main problem with Ender, it seems like he doesn't really have any hard removal. He has to wait till turn 7 to use that Flame Strike.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking. He needs 2 more rounds before he can use that, and that's what he needs currently. He does not have enough clear.
And you really need the only time, earlier I said I've seen the Pyroblast used in competitive. The only time was with a freezing deck where the mage is able to freeze, and then start unloading. When you have a deck like Ender has here, it really just sits there and you can't play it. By the time you can play it, you need to use everything else at your disposal to kind of even up the board. And again, this one just snowballs here with SGMStew leading 28-14 and having firm board control. Here's the coin into the flame strike. And just like that, Ender evens it up as far as board presence is concerned. Very good play there by Ender, and buys himself some more time heading forward. And as we can see here, a lot of spells, a 8/8 dragon in Nefarian, not really a whole lot else. Divine Favor. What would you do here, Toby? I think Divine Favor is a good play. Muster for Battle.
Yeah, I would say Divine Favor would be a good one here, but also I would think Muster for Battle would be somewhat good also. But that's me personally because I'm a swarm.
So Big gonna go with the Divine Favor. He's gonna end his turn, pass it back over to Ender Stone. And here we go for round number 7. Firelands Portal goes for the face here. Interesting. Gets a 4/4. And gonna take out one of these Silverhand recruits. So Big Dad now one turn away from Nefarian, and now he starts to have a little bit more at his disposal. He has 2 weapons. Steward of Darkshire. And he can buff up the egg and attack with that as well. So he's going to buff Silverhand Recruit, take down that Goblin, and now has better board presence than Ender does. Ender's still at 12 health, dangerously low there. Like I said, that next turn, Nefarian will likely be dropped. Here comes the Muster for Battle. Excellent play there. And Big really starting to plant the seeds for a finishing blow. All those Silverhand recruits going to get Divine Shield. And again, Enderstone is left needing hard removal, an Arcane Blast, something, and he has nothing. Fireball is going to be wasted. His 5 damage ability that summons a minion is going to be wasted. Pyroblast is especially going to be wasted. He can't even use it because he has 8 mana.
He should have used the taunt in that situation.
Absolutely. And gambling and losing the gamble there. Getting a 2/4 that is not a taunt. So Big could either bring him within 2 health points of lethal, he could drop Nefarian, he could drop his secret in, bring him within 2 points of lethal. Either way, the options are fantastic. Personally, I would probably go with Divine. There you go, Noble Sacrifice, and then the weapon, and then I just go phase. The 4/1 is not really a threat right now. The 2/4 is not really a threat. And with Ender being still, a turn away from that Pyroblast, he doesn't have the damage right now for lethal. He could in a couple turns, but Big's not going to let him live a couple more turns. I felt Big should have just replaced the 1/4 right off the bat. He would have given that damage to the Silverhand recruits and had lethal this turn, but either way, passes it back over to Enderstone. Just like that, look at the board presence all of a sudden from Wowmaster. This is incredible. The 2/5/5s, the Cobalt Scalebane, that is now an 8/3 taunt. My God. Just like that. And just like that, the Consecration going to even things back up. needs to immediately eliminate those two taunts, and now he has lethal. It was a last gasp from Ender, pretty much, but nonetheless, the result will still be the same. And there is your dagger, as SGMStew takes it. So round number 1 going to SGMStew, leading 1-0.
Honestly, if that consecration didn't come into play, Ender might have had to come back there.
Okay, so Wowmaster is getting back into Hearthstone. He wanted to clarify to me he did not rage quit. Thoughts on that first matchup, Toby?
Honestly, there's some quite very obvious mistakes done by Ender that could have he could have done differently and probably come out on top. But as you said during the match, he just had the cards were too high for him that he needed, and having a 10 card just sitting there holding up his hand the whole time is just it's just not good.
His last play was very good. He was just got unlucky that Big had a consecration there.
Yep.
And he top decked it as well. Welcome back, Chuck. Good to hear your mic is working again.
Oh, thank you, sir.
What does Wowmaster have to do to pull off the upset here and eliminate SGMStew? Chuck, you have beaten SGMStew. Go first.
Honestly, I don't think it's possible with his decks. If it was to happen, he would need to be very lucky and play very, very smart, and hope the RNG god is with him.
All right, so here we go. Matchup number 2. Enderstone's mage deck eliminated. And we will see whether SGMStew goes with Paladin, Druid, or Mage for this next matchup. You know, if you're SGMStew here, nothing would be better. Get back on track, get 2 wins, finish off Wowmaster 3-0, and advance to face AlCapwn. I think that'd be the best thing for SGMStew. We'll see if Wowmaster can get a win tonight, or if SGMStew will continue to pummel the rookie into submission. Let's say that SGMStew, as the favorite, gets the win, as he should. What's your prediction for AlCapwn versus SGMStew? We'll start with Toby.
Honestly, I haven't seen AlCapwn play, or I don't know how new he is to the game. But I still think SGMStew would be better just because I've seen SGMStew and I know his decks, and not knowing what Red is or AlCapwn is on level with the game, I feel like he's probably towards the beginning phases of the game, and he just won't have the card base to face Big.
Yeah, SGMStew losing to Country Rebel almost put him in a better situation here as far as getting to the finals. Now, when he gets to the finals, he'll have to face either youmadbro, aka Pathlador, or myself. But the path there is, I think, a lot more favorable now. I mean, and it was a very close match against Country Rebel. So if you're Big Stew, if you're SGMStew right now, would you both agree that he's in a very good position to make it all the way to the finals?
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so here we go. Paladin versus Paladin, a mere matchup here, but in class only. Deck-wise, I think it is obviously in favor of SGMStew. And notice SGMStew going with the tactic that he used earlier. I think the downfall was when he switched from Druid. And I think here you're seeing that he is staying with Paladin. So that is a very wise choice, I believe. If you have momentum with a deck, stay with it. There's no reason to switch here in the opening round. Now, we'll switch in the finals on Friday. When you win with a deck, you will have to move on to another deck. But for the opening round, you can use one deck for every single matchup. So we will see whether SGMStew changes it up or not. And we'll see if he gets the win. I mean, I'm talking as if he's going to get the win. It's not over yet, but after seeing the last few matchups from Wowmaster, it is not looking good.
Wowmaster actually doesn't have too bad of a setup right now, if he plays smart.
What do you think he needs to do here? What would be your next few turns?
Try and clear the board. Do what he's doing. And keep pressure on.
And the question here being, does SGMStew want to use that consecration? I probably would here, because if you sack, like he's looking at sacking that Murloc, I don't know, I probably would use the, well, there he goes. Because, now he has the 2 damage, now he can go straight for the face. Do you think that was the right play there, Chuck, being the veteran Paladin player?
It depends on if he has another consecration in his deck. And Ender here gonna mirror that and throw his own consecration down. It was an iffy move. I probably would have done the same thing if I had another consecration in my deck. If I didn't, then
He does, I believe he does.
Then yeah, I probably would have done that.
He does. So Steward of Darkshire coming out here. And keep in mind, up next we have IronWarlord versus youmadbro. And then after that, the final matchup of the evening going to be AlCapwn versus the winner of this series. And that will set up our finals for Friday. That will etch in stone who will be against who. Already we have Country Rebel up against Megatobi. Now we determine the other side of the bracket. It's a very sinister grin on that Grim Street outfitter, Chuck. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I was just thinking that myself.
Leave it to Hearthstone. Always interesting artwork. There is the Noble Sacrifice, also referred to affectionately by myself as the Cockblock card. Really can put a damper on your plans if you have a very strong minion with low health, a lot of attack. You can really feel it with that one. Fortunately, there that divine shield mitigated most of that damage. And SGMStew leads 22-18. looking at the hand of Wowmaster, what's his best path to victory here? Does he have a chance still? Is he out of it?
No, he's still got a chance. He just needs to get rid of some of these useless cards in his hand. Definitely needs to play that secret, play the hand of protection, get all that stuff out of his hand.
I think that was a grave mistake right there, misplay, using that heal instead of getting more secrets or minions on the board. That was a turn where he needed to get at least something on the board, get some secrets up, get something, instead of healing. Because that heal will be wiped out completely.
Yeah,
this next turn.
He needed to get rid of that stuff in his board in his hand and try and use that to find favor, get some stuff back in there, get some playable stuff back in there.
Pretty much what you said, but I mean, I feel that was a grievous misplay there with the heal, instead of doing, as you said, getting all those things out of his hand. And now, as you see, here comes the pain from SGMStew, all the way down to 1 health. Yeah, that was the misplay of the game right there for Wowmaster. The inexperience coming into play, I'm sure by this time next year he will be in a much better position experience-wise. But for the time being, it is over. Whether this turn or within the next couple.
There's nothing he can do here.
Yeah. And by this turn I meant concede, which he did. So SGMStew leads 2-0 now, just needing one more win. And really, at this point, there's just, you hate to be negative, but there's just no way skill-wise. I think there's too much of a mismatch. And more than skill-wise, it's deck-wise, right? Like, Wowmaster, it's bad enough that he has inefficient cards, let alone the way he plays them. It's just hard to overcome that against a player of SGMStew's caliber.
Correct. Right. He definitely needs to go back and redo his decks and get some more efficient cards in there and get rid of some of the stuff that he doesn't need and just sit there and practice.
Go back to the drawing board, so to speak, to use the cliche.
Correct.
Alright, so here we go. Turn number 1 for SGMStew. He drops an egg. That's not an egg that I would like to, break and scramble for breakfast. How about you, Chuck?
No.
Toby, would you cook up that egg and eat it for breakfast? I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
I wonder what dragon egg would taste like scrambled.
Dragon egg.
Like chicken. Which, like a normal egg.
The yolk would just be really big.
Yeah, it'd probably give you heartburn. So here we go. Secret, secret, secret. As I said earlier, a question mark over SGMStew's head, and Wowmaster does not want it answered. Noble sacrifice is up. I probably would have gone with competitive spirit. That would have given that egg 1-3. Would have buffed up everything on the board. That would have been a nice play, but either way, gets another Silver Hand Recruit on the board he can use the next turn. He also has that consecration in his back pocket, and it is only turn 3 here. So now turn 4. What's the play here, Chuck? What do you think? Competitive spirit, rallying blade, redemption. Well, we're gonna go with the redemption.
I would do competitive spirit and redemption, and then kind of just hero power. Just like that.
Exactly what you said. There he goes. And of course, SGMStew, a veteran with Paladin, so he knows what he's doing. And he does it there. 3 question marks.
And Ender chose the wrong card off that. Out of those 3.
even is that? What is that creature?
It's a Trog. Something.
I couldn't tell. Yeah, something like that. A golden competitive spirit. Look at that. Defender. Defender doesn't usually get that chance to be on the board like that. Look at the Defender is now a 3/2. That is a very lucky Defender. Usually he's just a jobber basically.
Right.
And there now he is a 3/2. Now you have to watch out for this stubborn gastropod. That is one of the best cards in the game.
Right up there with the Trog.
Yeah, two of the worst taunt cards in the game, probably, especially with the choice that he went with. But now SGMStew is going to crank up the pressure, and he is going to start going face, and he is going to start marching towards a matchup with AlCapwn. Here comes the Holy Nova. What a play by Enderstone. Going to buy him some time. Excellent play by the rookie there. That was the play to make, and as a veteran priest player, I can say that was definitely the right play. Well done by Enderstone. If he could just continuously make plays like that, he'd have a shot, but unfortunately, just not the case on this night. And another Holy Nova there. He is now out of Holy Novas. And SGMStew, unless he top decks a minion, is out of board presence besides the 2/1 Drake. Now, if you're Enderstone, you have to start dropping minions. The Light Spawn would be my play on the next turn. That Trog Gloom Eater is a terrible card. That is probably one of the worst cards in the game. My god, it is a 5 mana 1/5 card.
I would probably go Goblin Sapper or Dark Scale Healer. Seems that how he has a secret up.
Now that is an entirely useless card.
Correct.
That is just, oh man, bad card selection on that. Wow. And here comes the Avenging Wrath. Here comes the pain. 7 damage right to the face. And that might have been the game, that misplay there, not going with any of the options that we listed. The Goblin Sapper, the Light Spawn, any of them would have been a better play than that Trog. And going against a Paladin, you just have to know that that is a horrible card that will likely be, if the Paladin top decks it, if the Paladin has it in their hand, there's a good chance both of those happen. That neutralizing it with 1 health, it's going to happen. Chances are you have to plan for that. So now SGMStew gonna finish off the rookie here, end his aspirations of advancing in the tournament, and advance himself to the AlCapwn matchup later on this evening. A fantastic showing by SGMStew, coming back strong. He will have another shot at advancing to the finals up later. Up next, we have arguably our main event, besides Country Rebel and SGMStew. So SGMStew will face AlCapwn after this next matchup. IronWarlord and Pathlador, aka YouMadBro. This one is going to be a slobber knocker. It is going to be Warlock, Priest, and Mage up against Rogue, Hunter, and Warlock. So, Chuck and Toby, are you ready to commentate IronWarlord versus YouMadBro?
Yes.
Yes.
Alrighty, take it away, gentlemen. YouMadBro, good luck. You'll need it. I intend to reclaim my Outlaw Championship. Here we go.
starting off, we're going Priest versus Mage. Path gonna drop a Glacial Shard, freeze IronWarlord in place. Path gonna drop a Razor Petal Lasher, gain board control. Path also gonna drop a Edwin Van Cleef. And go to the face. IronWarlord gonna drop a Shield Master. Finally got, after 4 rounds, got something on the board. Here it is. I said rogue, I said mage, it's rogue. My bad. Sorry. Path gonna take out the Shield Master and go to the face. IronWarlord going to drop a Blackwing Corruptor, 3 damage, take out the Razorfin Petal. It is 22-16. IronWarlord gonna drop an Azure Drake. And then Power Word Shield it, giving it 2 extra health, along with draw a card. Rolling into round 6, Path's going to use Preparation, then a Mimic Pod, and then play a Counterfeit Coin, and then drop a Arcane Giant. What does that do? And then play a SI Agent, going straight to face with Edward Van Cleef. IronWarlord going to play Shadow of Death on the Arcane Giant, get him out of there and heal up. And then take out Edward Van Cleef with Azure Drake, pass it over to Path. Path going to rip Fan of Knives, get an extra card in there, and drop another Arcane Giant. And then take out the Azure Drake and go face with the SI Agent. It is now 8-18. IronWarlord gonna entomb the Arcane Giant, put it in his deck, and then pass it over to Path. Path with now 3 cards on the deck. Gonna Go to the face and drop IronWarlord down to 6. You're going to drop a Blackwing Corruptor, take out the SI agent, along with a Dorshar Cleric. And then you're going to buff that Cleric. And then heal up. Path now going to Preparation, and then Mind Control the Blackwing Corruptor, leaving Iron with a 5. I'm going to entomb that Blackwing Corruptor, put it back in his deck, and then heal up. And then go face with the Northshire Cleric. Not a lot of damage on the board. Ooh. And that is it. Path takes out IronWarlord's Priest.
I feel like at the end there he could have used one of his drakes instead of using his actual heal, maybe stayed a bit longer. He had the cards towards that end. He could have made a comeback.
Yeah, he probably felt pretty safe with nothing on the board. Which, going against a rogue deck, you can never be safe.
No. That was his first downfall, was having nothing at the beginning.
Alright, IronWarlord coming in with the Medivh, the Mage. Path going to keep his rogue deck up. Both players with a pretty decent starting hand. Path going to use a Hallucinate. Pick a card from Iron's deck. Iron going to use an Unstable Portal.
In that 5/5 time.
Swashbuckler coming out. A card I haven't seen. And that adds a random card to his board, and you can see Patches the Pirate.
Interesting card.
Definitely. Alright, Iron's gonna drop a White Eyes Taunt. Questing Adventure, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. Path is going to do Backstab into a Preparation. Into an Eviscerate, get rid of White Eyes, and buff his Questing Adventure up to 5/5. Iron's pretty indecisive here, not sure what he's gonna do. Just kind of scrolling through his cards, seeing what he's got. And he's going to Frostbolt the Questing Adventurer. Drop it down to a 5-2. And he's going to frostbolt it again and get it off the board. Path's going to drop down a SI agent with no combos, so it just kind of flops onto the board. Iron's going to drop a mana worm, and then Forgotten Torch the SI agent, buffing the mana worm up to a 2/3. Pass it over to Path. Path going to draw a card. Copy it. He's going to get 2 Glacial Spikes. Going to drop it down and spike the worm. And then go face with his other 2 cards. Trying to drop a Flame Walker. And then Hero Power the Glacial Spike. Get that off the board.
Do another hallucination. He took that counter spell. Nice. And now Glacial Shard to freeze and destroy the Flamewalker. Nice.
Smart choice there. And then looks like he's going to run everything into that worm and get it off the board.
Which was a smart choice.
With the mage deck, yeah. I'm gonna drop a Archmage. Path not gonna waste any time, immediately sapping that right back into his hand. And going face. And then play a secret.
Replying with a secret.
I'm gonna Hero Power that Glacial Spike and then drop a Cult Sorcerer. Path gonna Fan and Knives, trying to get some cards back up in his hand. And drop a Arcane Giant. Along with a Molten Reflection, which makes another copy of the Arcane Giant. I'm gonna Cult Sorcerer into Fireball. One of the Arcane Giants. And then Hero Power and get one of them off the board. Path gonna Fan and Knives, try and get some cards. And then go face to the Cult Sorcerer and get it off the board.
Pulling out that Archmage and then using that Roaring Torch to get a Fireball. Smart move. Basically almost taking out that Arcane Giant. Another Arcane Giant.
IronWarlord in serious danger here. And there it is. Preparation into Eviscerate. Just gonna seal it.
All that's left is his Warlock deck, isn't it?
Yes, that is. That's the last deck he has.
That's going to be an interesting play. He's really good with that deck. That one scares me more than any of the other two.
Hey, we've seen combos backs before tonight.
Oh yeah. I believe that's probably why he saved his Warlock for last. Playing a Flame Imp and taking 3 damage to face.
Path choosing to stay with his road deck here. Gonna backstab that imp, get it right off the board. And then coin into a counterfeit coin. And drop a Edward Van Cleef, which turns into an 8/8. 8/8 on round number 1. That is kind of scary.
Yeah, that's rarely seen.
Hey, how do I view his hand too?
On your friends list, go down to him, and you got this click spectate on him as well.
Oh, I don't have him on my friends list.
Okay.
And we're going to do some serious damage, dropping IronWarlord all the way down to 18. Path going to fan and knives, get everything off the board. And Van Cleef straight to the face.
Round 4 and he was already down.
Wow.
That's scary.
That is.
I don't know. Good luck trying to beat that deck.
Oh yeah.
Like, not only did it get coin every single time, but I had nothing to remove an 8/8 right off. Like, that's a good game right off the bat. Well played, Path. So Path Lador advances to the finals on Friday. And IronWarlord is eliminated 0-3. Very bitter loss. Very bitter. But it's all about accepting defeat and moving on. What else can you do? So here we go. Moving on. The final matchup of the evening. We have AlCapwn against SGMStew. The winner will face that seemingly unstoppable rogue deck next, or this Friday coming up. SGMStew will initiate the challenge. It will be wild format. I believe AlCapwn is playing. God, I'd have to look this up. I don't even think he knows what he's playing.
Yeah, I know. Warlock, Shaman, Hunter.
Okay, so there we go. Warlock, Shaman, and Hunter against Druid, Mage, and Paladin. What is your prediction for this one, Chuck?
I'm gonna go with big just because.
What's going on, Big? Hold on one second, Chuck. What's going on with the wild thing?
Try again. It said he has no wild cards.
That's odd. Everybody should have wild cards.
The player has no wild cards.
Again, question. What's a wild card?
it's just it's all cards are alive. AlCapwn, try initiating it with SGMStew. Click Wowed.
That's the only things that are lit.
Do you have any cards whatsoever?
I've got what was given to me, I suppose.
I think with him maybe being a new deck, he has to do standard. He only has the standard cards. And they're not counting them as wild for some reason.
Weird. I have played. I mean, the only games I've played so far in this have been against the AI.
Okay, so standard works apparently. No. Big, you're gonna have to go reconstruct your decks then in standard, I guess. I don't know what else to say unless I step up and face SGMStew. I mean, I don't know what else we can do. So Big is forming his decks to play standard, and then we will get this matchup underway. So it will still be Paladin, Druid, and Mage against Hunter, Shaman, and Warlock. While we wait, I would like to announce that this Friday, Pathador, the rising Night Elf Hunter on Alliance Revolution, will be promoted to officer. That ceremony will be held outside the Cathedral of Light in Stormwind City, and it is the first and only officer promotion ceremony. The first officer promotion ceremony under the tenure of Guildmaster Javar. Again, that will be held Friday at 6 p.m. server. After the officer promotion ceremony, then we will move on to the finals of the Outlaw Invitational. I'm assuming Chuck, Toby, you guys will be there. Big Dad will be there. I don't know about Chuck, but Toby, you'll be there, I'm assuming. Ender,
Sorry.
Friday at 6 p.m. server.
Yes, I should be. I don't have anything.
Ender, you'll be there, I'm assuming.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, so Pathador will be promoted to officer Friday at 6 p.m. server. Chuck, I'm assuming you'll be there as well since it's the finals.
Yes, sir.
As well. Yeah, so that will be the first and only Alliance Revolution officer promotion ceremony. Pathador will become the first hunter promoted to officer since Gattu's. And first joining Glen Moreau, Finley, Dwarf Spartan, some of the greatest members in guild history as a officer and a hunter. So that is Friday at 6 p.m. server. Red, no, man, I want you to have a shot for this. It's no problem, man. It really isn't. I want you to have a chance to advance. So it's no big deal. I mean, unless you don't really want to play, I'm assuming you do because you've been on waiting. So you've waited this long. I want you to have your matchup.
It'd be dumb to not play after sitting here for a minute, but not, you know, it's
No, it's all good, man. Like I said, you've waited for your matchup. Your matchup's here, so get it on. We're just waiting for Big to finish his decks, and then we'll be good to go.
His decks might be okay because I didn't have to switch when I came back, and I know Cthulhu and them are still standard.
Big, what you need to do is you need to remember what your cards are that you have in them now, and then convert. Cthulhu is definitely going to have to be changed, so I would just make a new Druid deck. But your other decks, see if you could just convert to standard and see what you have to replace. That's definitely what I would do. And then just switch back. Or make a copy of the deck. Yeah, copy the deck. Copy your Paladin deck, convert to standard, and there you go. Fill in from there. You can copy a deck, right? Big weekend coming up, obviously, as I said, Pathador promotion ceremony, the finals of the Outlaw Hearthstone Invitational, and then on Sunday we will have the season champion crown.
Nice. Just to say, I think Big should be fine either way because Old Gods, Karazhan, Gadgetzan, Ungru, and Kobolds are still standard sets. The only ones that are wild are Grand Tournament, Blackrock Mountain, Goblins and Gnomes, and Hall of Fame. So if you don't have any of those cards in your deck, you should be fine.
Just click on Druid and see if you can convert to standard. See
Yeah,
if it changes any.
I'm copying it now. I'm copying them, and I have to replace a couple cards.
Okay. Chuck, finish. I interrupted you earlier because we had the whole wild issue, but what's your prediction here for this one? Let me ask this first. Red Bull, what is your experience with card games? Have you played Magic the Gathering?
I was a Magic the Gathering nerd back in high school. So but we're talking a long ass time ago. I think I was playing 3rd and 4th ed.
Nice. So you are familiar with managing mana and all that stuff. So you do have experience as a card player. So that should factor in.
I just don't know. I just know next to dick all about this game.
It is very easy to catch on to. Just obviously read the card descriptions, manage your mana, make efficient plays. It's all about trading. Very easy to catch on to. So I think this one could go either way just because of Red Bull's experience with card games. I think he'll catch on very quick. I think the first matchup might be a wash for him. Once he learns it and gets it down, we'll see. Red Bull, what do you think your strongest deck is out of the three? Obviously, you haven't played that much, but from what you have played, what do you think your strongest deck is?
Probably Gul'dan.
All right, so we'll see if Red Bull starts off with Warlock or not. Check, what is your prediction for this one? SGMStew versus AlCapwn.
I still got to give it to Big. Just based on experience with the game and decks, cards.
It's really experience with Hearthstone against experience with card games. That's what makes this one intriguing. How will that experience with Magic the Gathering transfer over to Hearthstone? SGMStew never really played any Magic the Gathering style games before this one. So that's really the matchup that we have here. And you heard Megatobi earlier predict that SGMStew would win this one. So I'm going to be the rebel here, and I'm going to go and predict that AlCapwn will win this one. I think it will be a very close series. We will see what transpires once we get into the arena. And as we await SGMStew to finish his deck, we will find out in just a few minutes here. The time for talk will be over, and the time for the final matchup of the evening will be upon us. Obviously, I mean, I think I know what the answer is going to be, but for the viewers who might be unfamiliar with the players and might just be joining us, who do you think has the best chance to win against that seemingly unstoppable rogue deck that youmadbro has? Because I think IronWarlord, yours truly, I have more championships than anybody else. The first ever season, I won the season championship. I think everybody here that has seen me play would say that I'm a very talented Hearthstone player. That was impressive what youmadbro did. The shellacking that I received, the combinations, the seemingly endless array of spells, and the fact that he defeated me so thoroughly, I think that makes him the favorite to win it all. Would everyone agree with that?
I'll go with that one.
I wouldn't put him as the favorite, but I'd put him up there on top.
Chubby, what would you say?
Same as Chuck. I wouldn't put him as the favorite, but I would put him up there for being on top of everybody. It's just seeing his gameplay is just crazy.
I would definitely say, personally, I would say he's the favorite to win it all. He's the guy to beat. Country Rebel, SGMStew, AlCapwn, Megatobi. We'll see, who rises up to challenge him. And AlCapwn or SGMStew, they have the immediate challenge coming up on Friday. So we'll see who rises up. 20,000 gold, the 2017 Outlaw Season Championship on the line here. The narrative tonight, we had 4 former champions, 4 debuting rookies. This is a matchup that encapsulates that narrative perfectly, with AlCapwn making his debut in Hearthstone, and SGMStew, the veteran, the reigning 2016 season champion. SGMStew, do you have at least one deck set for standard?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's get it on here. Round number 1. It'll be interesting to see how these two started off. And we will have a part of our answer, or part of our question answered here, as to who faces youmadbro in the finals on Friday. AlCapwn starting with Warlock, SGMStew with Mage. Best of luck, gentlemen. I'm moving you down to separate channels. Here we go. SGMStew coming out with the mirror image there to start, putting up a taunt wall. Corruption gonna take down one of those taunts after this next turn. It looks like a very standard basic starting deck. No surprise there from AlCapwn, but nice mana curve from what I'm seeing so far. He has a 1 mana, 2 mana, 3, and a 4. It's not a bad deck, and he also has the coin. what are your thoughts on the deck so far from what we've seen? It seems like a basic 2014 starting deck.
I can't see his cards, so.
You know how to see the cards, right? You just click on their
It's not on my
spectate
friends
down on the
list.
pencils. So SGMStew going to come in with a Frostbolt on the Kobold there, taking it down, 3 damage, 1 overkill. Has the Mana Worm up on the board, very strong synergy there. And AlCapwn is going to life tap and bring down the Voodoo Doctor. So he's going to get a card. That's an old school synergy play right there that I used to love doing. You life tap and then you heal right back. So it's basically negates the damage you do to yourself. Then you get a free card out of it and a 2-1 on the board. Toby, what do you think of his deck so far?
I think it has potential.
Okay, so he can Arcane Intellect, and it can also ping the Murloc there. You could also use Arcane Missiles, too. There's a lot of options. Personally, I'd probably wait for the Arcane Missiles in the mirror image until you get another Mana Worm. Like, if you're in this position as a mage, you always want to wait when you have those 1 mana cost spells to get a Mana Worm up on the board. And that's what I was hoping for earlier against Path, but I drew it, but it, didn't have a chance to get the synergy off. So here comes a Ogre Magi. A 1/3 taunt to protect it for the time being. That's going to give him some spell damage, +1. Turn 6 for SGMStew. And Polymorph is going to take down the Ogre Magi. And Arcane Missile is going to come in, likely finish it off. Maybe not, though. No, it does not. And SGMStew going to burn through both of those 1-cost mana spells. Still the taunt up on the board. The Ogre Magi reduced to a sheep. We'll see how AlCapwn answers here with his own turn 6 opportunity. Another Voidwalker being dropped. The Darkscale Healer coming out, going to heal the other taunt back up. Very nice place from AlCapwn. For someone who just started the game, he is making a very good first impression here, I would say. Would you not agree, gentlemen?
I agree.
Yes. Not doing bad.
Yeah.
So here is a Blizzard coming in. 2 damage across the board. Going to freeze everybody. The taunt's still up, but that is going to lock down AlCapwn's board damage potential for his 7th turn of the evening in this first matchup. Alright, here comes the War Golem. That is a 7/7 with a lot of damage potential. If it doesn't get polymorphed, which it is going to be. And another 1/1 on the board. Another strong minion that is reduced to being a sheep by SGMStew. Very close matchup so far. SGMStew leading by 2, but a very evenly matched board so far here. Not a lot of big devastating minions yet. We see that SGMStew has Antonidas in his hand. He also has a Pyroblast. And a Shatter, destroy a frozen minion, which you need to freeze a minion first. So we'll see if he's able to do that. And really, you want to save that for the bigger minions as well. So here's a life tap from AlCapwn. He is going to draw Marin the Fox Enderstone. There is your boy right there. There is your favorite card in the entire world, right?
You know it.
Flame Strike coming out here, gonna wipe out AlCapwn's board, and there is a 3 damage water elemental to the face of AlCapwn, freezing him, locking him down, and then SGMStew gonna pass the turn back over, wiping the board, freezing Gul'dan. How will AlCapwn answer? This is the question. Ogre Magi being dropped, and it looks like Drain Life. 3 damage. Nice synergy there. Going to heal AlCapwn back up to 24. And again, a very evenly matched game so far. I predicted AlCapwn would win this one. I think we're seeing here that it is not going to be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. It is going to be very hotly contested. It's all about the plays. Doesn't matter the deck. If you have a standard deck like this and it has a good mana curve, it's all about the plays. The deck is obviously the first step, but it's what you do with it that counts. And we see here that AlCapwn has a very solid deck. Basic, but solid. And we're seeing here that he is making excellent plays. Now, right now, that Antonitis dropped 5-7. Every time that SGMStew uses a fireball, a spell, he is going to get another fireball for it. And here he needs to use as many spells as possible. Antonitis is a marked man. He is going to be dead after this next turn. So pretty much any spell that you have, you just want to blow it here and use as many as possible to get as many fireballs as possible. Now what he could also do is he could use that fireball, get another fireball, use that one, and then he's going to be able to use the Arcane Explosion. So yeah, not going to get another spell. That's exactly what he needs to do. The Violet Teacher is a horrible play here. It's just not efficient. You're going to lose that Antonitis. You definitely want to use as many spells as possible. So it looks like he's eyeing the fireball. That's a good move. He's going to get another fireball out of this, and then he just needs to go face, essentially. He has 6 damage coming in here. He's going to get another damage from the Arcane Explosion and another fireball. And he's going to ping instead. He could have got another fireball, but going to ping. Either way, he has lethal next turn, unless, and no, AlCapwn does not get a heal, so that will be lethal next turn. Personally, I would go for the Pyroblast. It's a much more flashy finish than Fireball, but we'll see. Got the Rockets here. This is just throwback nostalgia right here. This is 2014 all over again. 2015 when Hearthstone just came out. This was like the deck to have. You remember that, Em? Did you play back then? Here comes the Pyroblast for the finish. There is your dagger. SGMStew will lead 1-0 in the series. So AlCapwn said that Lock was his strongest deck. That deck is now neutralized heading forward. But yeah, that feels like a deck that I played in 2014. It was the deck. I was in the beta, and it was pretty much the deck to have.
I think I played some of the beta, but I don't remember it fully.
Yeah, I think that deck pretty much exactly is what I played. So Warlock off the table, but the table is still set, and the full course meal has yet to be served here. As we go on to round number 2, another helping of SGMStew versus AlCapwn here in the final matchup of the opening round for the 2017 Outlaw Hearthstone Invitational. I am your host, the Guild Master of Alliance Revolution, Javar, the War Chief of the Warsong Offensive Shenush, joined, as always, by Foxy Hills, the Phenom, and Megatobi, Amelia / Salamon, the Sindori Slayer. Gentlemen, how have you enjoyed the tournament so far?
It's been fun. Lots of new cars, stuff that we haven't seen before, and lots of new players. It's been fun.
Of course, it has been over a year since we have had a Hearthstone event, so it's good to be back in the zany, lovable, friendly world of Hearthstone, based off of Warcraft and the Warcraft universe, but with a much lighter feel to it. So here we are. Hunter, the choice for AlCapwn here in this rubber match against SGMStew, who is now going as Paladin. Here comes the Cockblock card with the Noble Sacrifice, going to neutralize that 1/1 boar. Down goes the boar, down goes the Jobber Defender, and basically a wash on that turn. So Reinforce coming out here from SGMStew now has a 1/1 on the board control for the time being. We'll see how long that lasts. Seems like AlCapwn has a decent starting hand here. He's going to drop that River Crocolisk, and this again is a throwback. I remember playing Hunter in the beta. Warlock and Hunter were the two classes I played in the beta, and I remember the Raptor, which he has, and the River Crocolisk, two of the starting cards. Like that was the backbone of your deck. Abusive Sergeant, I'm going to give that Silverhand Recruit an extra boost. And with that boost, he is going to boost his boot right up the Crocolisk's ass. A crucial play there by SGMStew as he continues to control the board. Keep in mind that secret, that Redemption is on the board, or above Uther's head, I should say. So here we go. SGMStew continuing to flood the board with 1/1s. And multi-shot would be the play I would use here. There comes 3 damage. A little bit excessive, a little bit overkill, but it gets the job done. And Redemption, going to bring back the Abusive Sergeant. So here we go. 30-27. These two players, one a newcomer on the Warsong offensive side, one a general that has been with our guild since 2009, looking to advance for a shot to defend his season championship on Friday against arguably the favorite of the tournament, YouMadBro. SGMStew had a bitter loss earlier against Country Rebel winning 3-2. Coming all the way back, defeating Wowmaster 3-0, and now here against AlCapwn, one series of victories away from getting to the finals. AlCapwn, of course, looking to win here, and then get another couple days to practice, build his decks, and prepare himself for what would be a very tough matchup on Friday. There is a Houndmaster combo with the Raptor. That is now a 5/4 taunt on the board for AlCapwn. What do you do here if you're SGMStew, Chuck? What would your play be?
Man, I'll definitely get rid of the taunt. Go face and hero power, and hope that he doesn't drop anything big on the next hand. That's about all you can do.
So Big gonna take some damage. He's also gonna heal himself. The Houndmaster's still on the board. And here we go with the 1-1s. SGMStew getting the job done with him, leading 20-19. There is the Stormpike Commando coming in, and he's going to lose only 1 health with the secret being activated. And now look at the damage from AlCapwn, suddenly in the lead, but there is Tyrion Fordring. Tyrion Fordring has been drawn, and in 1 turn he will be on the board right now. What do you do? I think, is Consecration the play here? You do Consecration and then you knock out that Houndmaster?
Either knock out the Houndmaster and then concentrate, or either way, and then run face.
There it is. Excellent play there by SGMStew, and he gets Tyrion Fordring next turn. Of course, we see that AlCapwn has another Stormpike Commando, but nothing that is going to kill SGMStew anytime soon. And that Tyrion Fordring is going to be a massive threat, a massive obstacle for AlCapwn here with only 15 health remaining. Yeah, gets the Razorfen Hunter. Nothing really that's going to deal with that Tyrion Fordring anytime soon. And now he goes face, which is pretty much all you want to do here. You could remove that buzzard, but I mean, I think he did the right play there. What do you think, Chuck?
Yeah, with no other minions in your hand, going face is always the best option.
Yeah, and especially if he's able to buff those minions, then the 1-1s. Ooh, he can buff Tyrion Fordring here if he survives and keeps the Divine Shield. Not likely, but I mean, he could have. If AlCapwn disconnected for this turn, he could buff him next turn with Rallying Blade. But we'll see what he goes with. Lay on hands there. Restore 8 health and draw 3 cards. Do you think it's time for Lay on Hands next turn, or would you wait?
Yeah, I'd probably lay on hands because he's starting to get some damage on him. Tyrion's not going to last much longer.
So down goes Divine Shield. A well-played game from AlCapwn here. Prime position to win it. And this is gut check time for SGMStew. Lay on hands the play to make here. Rallying Blade not really going to do anything. Can't really afford to take the damage that would take to put down some of these minions. Here comes Lay on Hands. He used it on the recruit. That is probably game here in this matchup. That is a crucial error. Wow. Not like SGMStew.
He could, well, not this one, but the next one, Outfitter, and that would give him enough for game.
He has to take that taunt down with Tyrion for sure. And I don't even know, I guess Buzzard here. That's probably what I would do. AlCapwn, what do you do if you're him? Do you go with Timberwolf? Do you buff up your minions? You obviously want to sack Tyrion. And there he does so with the Stormpike Commando. That's going to give SGMStew Ashbringer. So there is the Raid Leader and the Timberwolf combo. Here comes the damage from AlCapwn. SGMStew down to 4 health.
he would try and discover meaning hope as a taunt, and then if not, Defender of Argus or that.
So now he has two taunts. He can't. He's not going to get any heals. That would be death right there. Yeah, pretty much all he can do is go for face. Likely this is a good game, and it is. And AlCapwn will tie it up 1-1. The Stormpike Commando landing the killing blow. The Paladin deck eliminated for SGMStew. Thoughts on the second round between SGMStew and AlCapwn? No thoughts? All right. So here we go. Matchup number 3. Druid against Shaman. So SGMStew down now to relying on top deck. AlCapwn having the advantage. Card-wise, tied up 28-28. Fan Creeper going to be dropped. That is a 3/6 taunt. Totem going to follow it up here. The 1/1 Flame Tongue Totem. The Searing Totem, excuse me. Wrath is what he has to work with here. Wild Growth not really going to help this turn. And the Druid of the Claw is going to help this turn. That is going to give SGMStew a charge. And he's going to be able to hero power. Oh, he's going to sack the Cthulhu minion of it instead. So an 8/8 and a 4/1 on the board for SGMStew. That Jade Idol is a fantastic draw right now. He needs the 3 copies, I believe. What would you do here, Chuck? 3 copies, or would you use the other ability? 1/1 Jade Golem.
I can't read it.
It basically shuffles 3 of them, and each time you drop a Jade Golem, the next one that you drop is more powerful. So it goes 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5. I think that was
Gotcha.
the best decision.
Right. And then Wild Growth for another card.
Still a very winnable game here for SGMStew. He did have to change his decks up so that this could be done in standard, but he is in a very good position right now. The 8/8 and the 4/1 on the board.
He
Now
needs,
opponent has a
he needs to use that Wild Growth, that way he can get a card draw out of it. But so far, yeah, he's made the right play.
very close matchup here. Despite the health, there's still quite a bit that AlCapwn can do. However, SGMStew still sitting behind the 8/8, and it looks like AlCapwn might sack the Frostwolf Warlord and the charge into that taunt to get rid of it. AlCapwn now down to the healer in his deck, the Night Elf Priestess. And that's pretty much all he has to work with. He is now out of minions to play. So it is coming down to a war of attrition, and who has the top deck. Oh, there is the Boulder Fist Ogre, and Big Dad can also draw a card off the Wild Growth. Fantastic top deck there from the Ogre, and he can also kill that taunt without taking any damage to the cat. Let's see what he gets here. Okay, Wrath, 1 damage. He's going to be able to take out that flame, that Searing Totem, and draw another card. Fantastic top deck value for SGMStew, who is starting to look very good in this matchup here. The third of the evening between these two. Druid of the Claw going to be very valuable next turn. He did not kill off the taunt, but he still has the 6/7 and the 4/1 on the board. The Harvest Golem coming out for AlCapwn still has the 6 mana heal there for the minion, the Priestess. And he also has Wind Fury as well. Another Boulder Fist Ogre. That is 12 damage right there. Does he use the Druid of the Claw or does he use the Ogre? I would put up another taunt. And he does, just to be safe. Just setting up, playing conservative, not necessarily going for face right away. And the next couple turns are going to be brutal for AlCapwn here if he doesn't get a taunt. AlCapwn now down to 7 health. A 6-7 on the board, a 4-6 taunt, a 4-1 tiger, or panther. Priestess of the Loon, gonna heal him up. And Big Dad has another Boulder Fist Ogre in his hand. The Swamp Boo's not really gonna do anything here. He could give the Harvest Golem or the Priestess Wind Fury, but again, the low health is gonna kind of put the kibosh on that, because no matter what he stacks it into, it's gonna kill it. So that is not even an option. He's kind of held up there with that Wind Fury and has no choice here but to try to work through that taunt. And turning the turn over, that will do it. Big Dad with enough damage here, taking down that taunt. He is right back in the series, 1 win away from advancing to the final. There is your dagger. SGMStew up 2-1 against AlCapwn. Match point here. AlCapwn now relegated to his Shaman deck, his final deck here. SGMStew having the Druid and Mage decks to work with. Could potentially be the final game of the night. You think AlCapwn ties this one up, gentlemen, or do you think SGMStew advances to face Pathlador on Friday?
I think I think Big has it.
And keep in mind what a matchup that is. We've talked about how the super fight to make an AFC is Big Dad versus Pathlador, and what a way to start that rivalry off in Hearthstone. Big gets that Cthulhu deck back together, and he gets his decks back together after this one, and that, I think, he has the conservative play style enough to thwart Pathlador's offense. So we'll see. Still game to play here. Did AlCapwn not just use Hunter? Yeah, let's forfeit this. This is over. He has to use Shaman. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, it's late. It's fucking 12 at night, so forgive me there, guys. Mixed up Hunter and Shaman. Yeah, so, okay, anyways, AlCapwn, good to go with his Hunter deck. I thought he played Hunter last time. AlCapwn just whispered, he's like, fuck, I didn't attack with my wolf. Oh man, yeah. Apologies for that one. Like I said, it's late. We've had 3 hours of Hearthstone action here with one break. So Yeah, forgive me on that one. I mixed up Rexar and Thrall. But either way, we're on here. 26 to 27 is your score. SGMStew needing one win to advance to the finals. And a meeting of destiny, it would seem, between Big Dad and Pathador in the finals. And of course, on the other end of the tournament right now, cemented, unlike this one where AlCapwn could still very much tie this one up, you have Country Rebel and Mega Toby. A lot of history between those two. So we'll see who advances there on Friday, and we'll see who advances to the finals on Friday here and now. The boar coming out, the pig charging at SGMStew, leaving the Sorcerer's Apprentice up. Was that a wise move, Chuck? What do you think?
No, you always want to get that apprentice off. That low cost spell that they did. You want to get rid of it as soon as possible.
I guess Big kind of took care of that. So a 1/4 Silverback Matriarch. Patriarch. God damn it, Blizzard. Dropping it on the board here, the Gorilla, ready to go. 1/4. Big's eyeing sheep, interesting. Plays here, Toby, what would you go with, you main mage?
I think possibly would do what he just did. I really don't know.
So AlCapwn now looking at his options on turn 6. Dropping the River Crocolisk, and he's going to buff it up with 2/2 and Taunt. We are in potentially the final matchup of the evening for those of you joining us on Twitch. SGMStew looking to advance, leading 2-1 against AlCapwn. A experienced Hearthstone player against an experienced Hearthstone player with no real experience with any Magic the Gathering style games against a player with Magic the Gathering experience with no Hearthstone background. So interesting dynamic there for this matchup here. Fourth matchup of this series. And the Vaporize gonna take down that Houndmaster here. AlCapwn leading 27 to 15. Antonitis drop. Is SGMStew in trouble here? What say you, gentlemen? Is SGMStew in trouble here, trailing 15 to 27? He has Antonitis on the board. He has Mana Worm. He has some spells. Polymorph being the most powerful. He can drop the. I think the next play to make is the 2 Arcane Explosions. You get 2 fireballs out of it. You drop that Mana Worm and then the 2 Arcane Explosions. You definitely want to polymorph that Corehound. Oh, and there is the Flame Strike. But does he use it here? It doesn't kill the Corehound. I think you polymorph and then you Arcane Explosion, right? I'm pretty sure that's the play to make, yeah. You have to polymorph that Corehound or else you're dead next turn with the hero power. And there is the polymorph. He's going to get a fireball out of it. And now he can Arcane Explosion. Kill off the sheep. And he could either sack the Stormpike Commando. He could go straight for the face with Antonitis, either way. And he's going to go for control here. Unfortunately, the perfect counter is available. Multi-shot gonna take down both the Mana Worm and Antonitis, clearing the board and resetting it entirely. Here comes the Starving Buzzard on AlCapwn's side. Excellent. I mean, really, that damage, that 12 damage, I'd probably hold on to that. I don't know about you guys, but I would hold on to that and save it for the finish. You could easily kill it with Arcane Explosion and the ping on the Buzzard. Of course, then you can't really play anything else this turn, but I think you're in a very dangerous situation right here against Hunter because all they need is a kill command or a couple kill commands and a buff to their beast, and you're dead. You know, I think 10 and their hero power. You know what I mean? 10 health or below, you are in a very dangerous situation against Hunter. Kill command, hero power, you know, a Houndmaster, any type of buff, you know, those raid leaders there, you're getting dangerously low. And SGMStew is just a hair away here from advancing. AlCapwn just a hair away from tying this up as well. Now is the time for Flame Strike. I don't think there's any other play you make here. That leaves AlCapwn with just the regular. There's SGMStew eyeing it, pulling it forward from his hand and dropping it down there. Now it is 20-8, and the boar is not going to do the damage needed. Yeah, that Flame Strike was the perfect play there to wipe out AlCapwn's board, and now AlCapwn completely out of cards. He's relying only on top deck. And you see now, it is danger for SGMStew. Dangerously low here. He is at 4 health. A kill command and a beast will end it outright. My goodness. Do you use the worm? Do you go fireball? What do you do here, gentlemen? You have to kill that raid leader. You have no choice. If the hero power in the raid leader next turn kills you. So you see there, SGMStew burning that fireball, casting it right in the face of the raid leader. Multi-shot not really going to do the damage needed. Hero power going to get him within 2 damage. Oh man, AlCapwn is so close to tying this up. He is going to have lethal next turn, and SGMStew is not going to have an answer. That will do it. AlCapwn tying it up 2-2. What a victory. And now it all comes down to this. Druid against Hunter. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts on that one? AlCapwn tying it up. It is anyone's game here in this next matchup. What do you think?
Yeah,
Surprise here by AlCapwn?
definite surprise.
Yeah, he really surprised by AlCapwn. This is going good. I think it's a toss-up next match.
So this is it. All comes down to this final matchup of the night. Match point. These two going the distance. Tied up to 2. A fifth and final meeting between SGMStew and AlCapwn. It is all on the line here. Doesn't get any more clear cut. The winner here looking to advance for a crack at the 20,000 gold prize in the 2017 season championship. To do so, they will have to face youmadbro on Friday. And that dominant rogue deck that we saw earlier. SGMStew eyeing that Jade Idol. And then he will give himself 3 more. is the pig coming in for 4 damage. That is quite a shot to the face right off the bat. And Disciple of Cthulhu gonna answer right back. Settle in, boys. We are in for a fantastic finale to the opening round. You just saw a taste of what this final matchup is gonna be right there. Silverback Patriarch coming down, a 1-4 taunt. And here comes the Keeper of the Grove. It looks like probably the best play here. Silence that taunt, make it a 1-4. Yeah. I think if you go with the Kobold, you're giving yourself spell damage, but that 1-4 is an annoyance that needs to be dealt with, and there it goes. Now, unfortunately, the Houndmaster can buff it right back up with the taunt. We'll see if AlCapwn goes that route. He can also use his 1 mana shot there to take down the Grovekeeper. And he will do so. Arcane Shot coming in, Grovekeeper neutralized, and AlCapwn asserting board dominance. Druid of the Claw is a potential play here. You can also drop both the Geomancers. I think Druid of the Claw likely play, and it looks like it will be the play. Getting a 4/6 taunt on the board. Do you go face or do you control? Go face. Looks like that is the choice. And the decision there made by Big Dad, now making it 26-25. AlCapwn leading by 1. And there is the Houndmaster, going to buff up the Silverback to 3/6. The Timberwolf coming out, going to buff up all the beasts on the board. The Gorilla and the Boar being the 2 recipients of that buff, +1 attack. And AlCapwn doing a good job controlling the board here. 1 turn away from the Ancient of War. And there is Swipe, and man, is that a good time for Swipe. It's not going to kill everything, but it'll definitely put a dent in the damage that AlCapwn can do. The Geomancer combo, oh, didn't get the Geomancer off. That would have been 5 damage and 2 damage to everything else. Didn't get that combo off with the Kobold first. Would have been the ideal play, but nonetheless does clear most of AlCapwn's board. The synergy there would have been a huge buff there. That would have knocked everything out. The 2/2 still remaining. Houndmaster going to buff up the board to 3/3. And 5 damage coming in to SGMStew, now 18-25. Interesting play there. Ancient of War going to come in 5/10. Going to save the Geomancers and the Wrath. What is the next play for SGMStew following that Ancient of War check? What do you think?
Either Cobalt, and then Wrath, or put your Boulder Fist out.
So 3 damage to the boar. Looks like he's going to drop the other Kobold. And he's going to start to build the Jade Golem army with a 1/1 now on the board. And he's going going face. Now a 19-16 lead for AlCapwn. Stormpike Commando gonna come out here now. 2 of them on the board, 8 damage overall, and looks like AlCapwn's gonna sack his Razorfen Hunter and the Stormpike Commando into one of those Stormpike Commandos into the taunt. Nation of War now neutralized, and AlCapwn gonna go for the face. SGMStew now at 10 health. He has 2 Boulder Fist Ogres. Has to go for control here. That now is definitely a good time for those Boulder Fist Ogres. We're seeing a lack of minions in the hand of AlCapwn. Could be exactly what SGMStew needs. AlCapwn doesn't immediately have a way to neutralize the Ogres, and that is going to be 6 damage next turn. Now 17-11. Very close game here. The boar coming in. AlCapwn going to use multi-shot. And he's going to use the charge with the boar to take away the armor. And hero power knocking SGMStew down to 8 health. Excellent, excellent card right there. Exactly what SGMStew needed. A well-timed taunt. He's going to armor up again. And there is 6 damage to the face of AlCapwn. 7 with the hero power. What a game. 10-9. Razorfen Hunter not going to be enough to get through that taunt. And next turn, SGMStew will have lethal with the hero power, the Boulder Fist Ogre, and the taunt. Unless, no, it is not going to be enough to get through the taunt. That is lethal. That is game. The question is, will SGMStew capitalize on it? 10 damage with the hero power. What a war that was. 10-7. And SGMStew going to win a war here against AlCapwn. What a valiant effort by the walk-on for this invitational. AlCapwn's experience out in full force here, on fine display from his years with Magic the Gathering. But nonetheless, SGMStew's experience with Hearthstone going to triumph. Despite changing his decks, SGMStew in a second war tonight. His first was against Country Rebel. This one will be a victorious one. And SGMStew wins 3-2. As I said, a fantastic display of skill and experience from Red Bull. A valiant effort there. You could see that experience from Magic the Gathering, man. Well played. You impressed everybody tonight.
Thank you.
That was a war between SGMStew and AlCapwn. Could have gone either way there. The Boulder Fist Ogre, the taunt, 3-6, and the hero power getting the win for SGMStew. As I said, his second war of the evening, his first being against Country Rebel. This one victorious for the Guardian of Cenarius. We have our finals. We have them set in stone. This Friday, following the Pathlador Officer Promotion Ceremony, it will be Country Rebel against Megatobi and youmadbro against SGMStew. The first meeting in either Hearthstone or WoW between Big Dad and Pathlador. Thank you all for coming out tonight. I hope you enjoyed watching. I hope you enjoyed playing. That will do it for the opening round of the Outlaw Invitational. Good night, and I will see you all Friday.